This example shows the graph of a person's change in elevation over time. The students are to discuss the graph in pairs or small groups to attempt to describe what the person may have been doing. Students are likely to view this graph as an actual representation of the movement of the person, both horizontally and vertically. For instance, a common interpretation of the graph would be that a person is hiking up a hill, reaching the top of the hill, hiking back down a hill until they reach the same initial elevation a given horizontal distance away. While this interpretation is not incorrect, it may assume that the horizontal aspect of the person's movement is represented in the graph, which it is not. Specific questioning may help students think about what this graph does and does not reveal. One thing that you could ask students is to compare sections 1 and 3 of this graph. Focus them on the concept of rate of change, and the student should be able to tell you that the rate of change is greater in section 3 than it is in section 1. You may want to remind the students that rate of change here represents the change in elevation per unit time. Then challenge the students to think of multiple ways that the rate of change could increase from section 1 to section 3. A likely interpretation is that a person is hiking up a hill and that section 3 represents a steeper part of that hill. And that is a possible interpretation, but have the students try to think of another way that this result could be achieved. And one way that this could occur is that if an individual is hiking up a hill at the same degree of steepness and they increase their pace. So if they start to hike more quickly, they will increase their elevation at a faster rate. Another way to have students think about this graph in multiple ways is to compare sections 2 and 4, which are both horizontal line segments. Remind the students again about rate of change, and they should be able to tell you that the rate of change here is 0 for both sections 2 and 4. And again, as before, have them try to think of multiple ways that this could occur. Many students will tell you that sections 2 and 4 represent flat portions of a path, and it could, but another correct interpretation would be that if a hiking individual stops, the elevation also would not change, but time would increase, resulting in a horizontal segment. So that's another viable interpretation. Encouraging multiple interpretations may help students to accurately interpret graphs that represent real-world situations.